Can I have a kiss? Thank you. Can I have another one just so they know it wasn't a freak? Oh, for Luke. Give me a kiss. Can I have a kiss? Are you looking at yourself in the... Give me a kiss. Thank you. Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Yes. You have no idea what's in store today, do you? No, you don't. Hey guys, and thanks for stopping by my channel. So today is a little bit different. We are on the road, and this video, as the title suggests, is getting my bird checked at the vet. Now, this is a special vet. This is an avian vet. Avian vets are specialized in birds, so it's not like your typical dog or cat vet. And unfortunately, there aren't that many avian vets, so we have to do a little bit of a road trip to get there. There's nothing wrong with Phoenix. Phoenix is fine. This is just a wellness check and to get some grooming done. But when we get there, I'm gonna ask permission to see if I can film or not. I don't want to step on anyone's toes, and I certainly don't want to be shady about, you know, trying to sneak in footage. So if they say no, I probably won't even make this vlog, but hopefully they say yes. So it's a really interesting procedure what they do, and I could just sit here and talk to you about it, but I'd rather show you. So hopefully the next time you see anything will be him getting his procedure done. And as you can see, he's a little bit nervous. He's not used to being in the car. That's his hotel cage. That's not the cage he lives in. If you've seen my other videos, you know he lives in a giant cage. This cage is just for transport. And yeah, he's really anxious right now. And I keep trying to tell him it's okay, but the thing with parrots, especially African greys, is that they hate change. And even though he's been in the car before, he doesn't like it. All right, guys, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so we're looking at his oxygen machine right there. It's pretty neat. It takes the air from the room and turns it into oxygen. And then there's tubing that is filtered and goes through to the machine that actually adds the anesthetic. So here I am picking up Phoenix from his cage, his travel cage, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm holding Phoenix. My husband is the cameraman, so I do apologize for any fingers in the way. But I'm just holding onto Phoenix, waiting for the vets to get ready, and we're going to go ahead and towel him here in a minute. It does look violent, but he's totally gonna be fine. This vet is very experienced. He has years and years of experience, and I wholeheartedly trust his judgment and how he does things. This is not the first time we've seen this avian vet, and it won't be the last either. So we're gonna go ahead and towel him now, and here we go. Oh, and I should say that it did take me a second because Phoenix tried to fly away because he was afraid, and he twisted his foot a little bit in my hand, so I had to reposition his foot, but he's fine. I was just repositioning him so that we could do this correctly. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Okay, so now he is hooked up to the machine that's going to feed him some anesthetic, and he's slowly going to fall asleep here. And it is interesting to watch. Of course he's not happy, but in the end everything turned out just fine. And as you see, he is slowly going to be starting to close his eyes, and he's going to sleep right there. And the vet is holding onto his body and making sure that he's stable. Okay, now the one thing I want to talk to you about the neck is that birds, you cannot, a lot of times people freak out when they see them getting held by their neck, but they have a very different neck than a mammal. So please don't worry about the whole neck thing. But anyways, you can see he's still breathing, he's fine. So what they're gonna do now is they're going to check him over. They're looking at his wings, and he's asking me if I want to have his wings clipped, and I said no. And then he's telling me that his wings look really good. He's checking his preen gland at the base of the tail. He says that looks really good. So I was happy about that, because this bird hates to take a bath and I always have to struggle with him to get him to take a shower. Okay, so now he's gonna pull the feathers back and check on the skin and see how healthy or unhealthy the skin looks. The skin looks really good, and he said that the bird feels of a good weight. I was a little concerned that he might have been overweight, but his weight will be fine, and we will also be weighing him. Now he's checking the joints on the legs of the bird, and he's looking at the feet. He also is going to check, or he might have already done that. He checked also the cloaca, or the vent of the bird where the bird potties, and everything looked clean and healthy. So now what he's going to do is he's going to, excuse me, he's going to cut and Dremel the nails down, and then he's going to add some styptic powder to each and every nail just to make sure they don't start bleeding. And I did speed this part up a little bit because it's kind of, you know, the same on every single toe. So Dremel, so it's cut, Dremel, styptic powder. And his nails actually weren't that bad considering how long it's been since we've groomed him. The vet said his nails weren't too bad, they weren't too sharp, they weren't too long, so that was good. I think that I can contribute that to having multiple surfaces for Phoenix to stand on during the day. I did take the audio out so I could do a voiceover, but also because there was a lot of background noise and I didn't think it was appropriate to have other people talking during this that I didn't know, because this was kind of like a clinic and it wasn't just us there. Okay, so now the bird is out of anesthesia and he's gonna get weighed. And this is the scariest part. Look, he looks dead, doesn't he? He's totally fine. He got weighed. He weighs about the same as he did last time, which was almost 2 years ago. So that's pretty good. Now he's checking his jaw, his mouth, his eyes. Okay, so now I'm holding him and we're gonna be trimming his beak. And there's a specific way in which you have to hold a bird. Now, like I told you about the neck, the throat area, you can hold a bird like that, but the one thing that you cannot do is you cannot restrict the movement of their breast where they breathe. If you were to hold tightly to a bird's chest, you could actually suffocate them. So you have to be very careful on how you hold them around the chest area. So now he's just making sure that the bird's beak is in alignment, which it was. And he's just very carefully shaving the sides of the beak, which really there wasn't a whole lot that needed to be done with Phoenix. His beak was in really good shape. And as you can see, Phoenix is coming out of anesthesia very quickly. So the vet was working quickly to get this done. And yeah, the vet said that Phoenix looked really good. He was a very healthy bird. He was also really well behaved for the most part when he was conscious. And he's just getting the very tip of his beak trimmed so it doesn't have that sharp point, but let me tell you, that sharp point will be back before you know it. He covers his eyes and he uses some air in a can just to get rid of all of the shavings, and then he's going to wipe off his beak just to make sure there's no more shavings, and Phoenix is not happy about it. And then he's going to put some mineral oil on the beak just to keep it protected, since it did just get shaved, to keep it moisturized as well. And it looks pretty snazzy. Now he's going to wipe that off, get all the excess off. And I did ask him about his nares, or his nostrils, and he said that the nostrils looked clear, which was great. A little bit of styptic powder just to make sure that he doesn't bleed, which he didn't. And now you can see my husband's recording me putting Phoenix back in his cage. Now I took the perch out because I wanted to make sure that he didn't fall off his perch, because he did just get anesthesia. Last time we were here, he fell off his perch, so this time I was prepared. I took the perch out, put in a blanket, but he was already pretty much completely awake by the time he went back to his cage. So we just waited a little while we were there to make sure that he was okay before we ended up leaving. He is a little woozy here, but he's pretty much completely awake now, and that's it. Okay, so here's Phoenix after the procedure was done and he's out of anesthesia. It is like really scary watching that happen to your bird. I mean, he looks dead when he's out of, you know, he's not conscious. But the vet said that he looked very healthy, and he hasn't been groomed in a while. It's been over a year now. And he seems to be taking very good care of himself with his beak and his claws. So I'm happy about that. His weight is good. Everything looked good on him. His preen gland and his feathering and everything is just perfect. So very happy to report that we had a very good visit with the Avian vet. And I'm very grateful that the Avian vet allowed me to record. So yeah, I get to share my experience with you guys. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.